Okay. The other night, I forgot to go live on Instagram the whole show, which that was bad.
Don't freak out when I stop the cam. It's just me like trying to play with it. I'm still here when I do it.
I won't freak out.
And I won't do it for very long.
Hey, everybody, don't freak out if Scott's camera goes dead. He's just experimenting with different angles.
Wow.
Angles.
He's a Padres fan. All right, we're getting ready to listener questions. So come hang out with us and ask your questions in the comments, and we will answer those to the best of our abilities here on a Monday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. It is 80 degrees here in St. Louis today again.
It's warm here today, too. It was awesome.
Unreal. 80 degrees. I'll take it. It's going to storm tonight, so I mean, it's going to be cold.
I should be on a patio having a cocktail somewhere is where I really should be.
I know. I need to set up for the deck. All right, here we go. Episode 2447 for the day before my wife's birthday. Oops. Nope. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2447 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week. Thanks so much for dropping in for listener questions as we do every Wednesday. We appreciate you being here live with us as we have Kim Taylor, who is tuned in live with us here on Facebook, and she is at Garden Rocks as she's watching us live. We appreciate that. She's over there at Epcot. So have a good time over there, and thanks for dropping in. But we're going to have a good time today answering your listener questions, and we have the crew assembled to answer those questions, starting off with your friend and mine up in Michigan, #Scotty G. What's up, Scott?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. Doesn't it feel like spring, like an early spring? Like I'm thankful for that groundhog over there in Pam's neck of the woods that we're seeing some early spring, because the day of recording, it's 70 degrees here. It's unbelievable. So, but yeah, happy to answer some listener questions. My favorite show of the week, and hopefully we'll get stumped on a couple today. I really want to use my brain power today. So hoping for some good questions.
Yeah, first question of the day comes from Phil in Pennsylvania and says, spell Puxatawny.
I'm going to use a lifeline and ask Pam. I'm going to phone a friend here.
That should be like on the, like in Missouri, our kids all have to take what's called the MAP test, like at the end of the year, like the Missouri assessment program kind of thing. It was like, you know, you always threaten the kids all year, like, man, we're getting ready for the MAP test. Like this time of the year, the teachers would all be pulling their hair out because like you throw away the textbooks and like you just start doing test prep, right? For this, because all the teachers were evaluated with it. In Pennsylvania, right? That should be like question number 1. Spell Puxatawny. No, you're not passing this grade this year because you spelled it wrong. I'd be like, P. I don't even know what comes next. I'm a terrible speller. Thank God for iPhones.
It's got to be a U next, I'm guessing.
Pux.
Like P-U-X. Yeah.
A tawny. Rest. I don't know. Speaking of our home state, we're just got to have fun here. We got Pam Forrester, coder of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, busy times over the last week. We're making it, but man, fingers cramped up a little bit. What's going on?
I know, right? So much. So first of all, let's the Punxsutawney debate. It is Punxsutawney. Punxsutawney. And
I was skipping that N. I was going straight to the X.
You were missing the N. Yes. Yes, exactly. And I will tell you, so when I was in elementary school, we lived in a town. Are you ready for the name of this town? Zelienople. This is what I had to learn how to spell, Zelienople. So anyways.
That's fun to say, though. I like that.
I know, right? That's like an elf thing. That's so fun.
It sounds like it should be a movie where Olivia Newton-John roller skates or something.
Right? Oh, that would be kind of cool, actually. So anyways, yes. And if you haven't heard, and where have you been? 2025 Walt Disney World is now available to book through the end of October. So if you're interested, reach out. We have a special booking bonus going on until the end of this month. So
Pam Forrester, I'm just trying to get through March 2020.
I know. We all are. This is like wave season. Like they call it wave season for us because there's a wave of bookings that happen. And we still find that to be the case. It's usually pretty busy the first few months of the year. So we're cramming it all in together.
It is. All right. So let's get to I got to send a shout out to my wife. Her birthday is tomorrow. So my Pam, it's the podcast. We got to clarify the Pams. So my Pam celebrates her birthday tomorrow. So shout out to my Pam. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Pam.
Yes. We'll go out to eat wherever you like tomorrow night. Because tomorrow night, it's great. No podcast recording on Thursday nights because we do shows on Mondays. I do shows usually on Tuesdays. Got that one out of the way a little bit early so I can do some more work. Wednesday nights, podcast night. So Thursday nights and no basketball tomorrow night. So no cheer. So we're clear. So we're going to have a little birthday dinner. All right. First question comes from TJ. One of my great guests over the Magic for Less says, have a question for you on the dining plan. Since it's been at least 12 years since I've used it. We have an upcoming reservation for the three of us. One of my daughters is currently on the Disney college program and will be joining us for a few of the meals. As she's not on the reservation, nor will she be with us for all of our meals, she obviously won't have the dining plan. If we go to a character meal, can I use one of my credits for her and then pay cash for a lower cost meal? I know you used to be able to do this, but wasn't sure if Walt Disney World has cracked down on this. TJ. So Pam, how can that work? How do you allot your credits?
So I'm going to preface this by saying you used to be able to do this. I believe you can still do it. Really, at the end of it, when they present you with the bill, you would take it and you have the credits that are attached to you because you're on the reservation, and you can use it to pay for however many credits you need. So if there were 5 people, then you would do 5 credits. So I have not heard that this is not the case since the dining plan came back in January. And I'm sure that we in the Disney community would have heard it if there were a complaint to be had, because Lord knows if there is a complaint, one has to voice it on social media. So.
Is that not what social media is made for?
I was thinking that. I wonder if the creators of social media ever anticipated the level of complaining about Disney in particular that would happen. I wonder.
If not, they're pretty excited.
It's freaking magical.
Yeah, I would say yes, because I mean, think about it. In the old, TJ kind of mentioned this, so he obviously knows that back in the old days, you could just bring somebody over to your table, you can give your credits away.
You could be like,
if you were
you could be like this. I'm paying for my meal, and that's 5 people sitting around me.
Didn't you do that back in the day? I thought you had a story where you gave out some meals, like at a place one time.
My first visit, it was our last meal of the trip. And we're on the deluxe dining plan. So we were just, all we did was eat that first trip, by the way. But we're at Yachtsman Steakhouse and our server comes over and they're like, you're not on the dining plan by chance, because there's a gentleman that's willing to pay for your meal if you're not. And I'm like, dang, like, why didn't this happen? Like, why can't that happen on a trip where I'm not on the dining plan, But yeah, used to see that all the time. We did it in 2019, I think. Like, Pam, we're with your family and the Martins. We all went to homecoming and it was our last day of the trip. We had like 6 or 7 credits. We're like, yeah, let's just credit the whole table, right? Like, you don't want to waste them, right? But
no, you don't want to waste them.
And I like TJ's strategy, right? Like, use them for the more expensive meal and then pay cash somewhere else. And I have to agree with you two. Like, I haven't heard anything. You two might be more in tune to it, but I feel like you could do it, but never take our word for sure on that, because we have not heard otherwise.
Yeah, just ask your server and just, ask him or her and see what they say.
And now I want homecoming.
Or
right?
or whatever character meal. Dine with Mickey Mouse or Chippendale. I could go for some garden. I'm kind of in a garden grill mood right now.
No, I want like thigh high biscuits from homecoming.
Yeah, I want that mac and cheese from homecoming as well.
That's good. And their collard greens are beyond too.
By the way, this show's always recorded at dinner time, and it always gets back to food. All right, Amy's got a question, and she says, "Hey, Mike, for future listener calls and questions podcast, this summer I will have the opportunity to spend one day at Disneyland. I'm a seasoned Disney World person, but I've never made it to Disneyland. I'm so excited. I know in a perfect world, more time will allow me to do everything, but I'm grateful for that one day. How do I maximize my day? Should I buy a park hopper? Get Genie Plus? I've heard about the Blue Bayou and fireworks parties, but is it worth my time doing those things? I remember you saying to be at Radiator Springs at sunset, so I don't want to be at a dining reservation and missing Radiator Springs. Thanks so much for the answer and for the amazing podcast, Amy. So first, we'll all give tips. My tip is don't do sit down dining on this one day. I know Blue Bayou is awesome, but I would snack and just grab counter service because one day you don't want to waste time. Like, as cool as Blue Bayou is, that's just going to eat into your time. There's so many awesome snacks and so many great counter service locations. Don't do sit down dining. That'd be tip 1 for me. And if you guys think it's disagree, feel free, but that's my tip. Scott, go ahead.
Well, it depends on what their goals are. If they want to do like all the attractions, then yes, skip the sit down dining. My tip was going to be Genie Plus. Totally. I think, I mean, even if I was doing one day at Walt Disney World, I would do it, but I think it works better at Disneyland. I mean, it actually works really well at both, but I feel like the availability is there more frequently at Disneyland. So can't miss doing Genie Plus for sure. And her other comment was the park hopper, which I'm going to flip over to Pam because I know she's going to have the same answer as me. Pam, what do you think about the park hopper option?
100% park hopper. Yes, don't even think about it for the second. Even at Walt Disney World, I feel that I use the park hopping, all of the time. And at Disneyland, it happens even more because the parks are literally within walking distance to each other. It's a short walk across the Esplanade and you'll be in the other park and you may want to bounce back and forth a few times. So definitely with the park hopping, you're going to want to experience both of those parks. I think the other thing you're going to want to do is just go in with a game plan. What's important to you? What do you really want to see? Genie Plus, I agree with Scotty. I would absolutely purchase Genie Plus. It's going to save you time and it works so well out there. I think that guests that are used to it at World are often really impressed with how much better it seems to work at Disneyland because I think not everyone buys it there too. I think that's another thing that sort of contributes to it working so well. If you're interested in you'll have to wait for times to be released to see the fireworks at Disneyland if they're going to be offered that day, and also World of Color. I think that there's not a package that helps you see the fireworks, unfortunately. If there were any kind of dining or dessert package, I would recommend it wholeheartedly. There is one for World of Color, so you may have to make a choice there and see what is more important to you. I would lean toward the Disneyland fireworks if they're going to be offered that night. They're just really spectacular and something to see. And sometimes you can see both, especially if there's a early World of Color showing it and also a later one. So see if that's possible too.
And the Shaboom thing is what you're mentioning for around it's around, and they usually do it right at the official sunset time. So if you have like a weather app, you can kind of see what the official sunset time is for Anaheim, and you can ask a cast member too. Go out there maybe 10, 15 minutes before sunset. Everybody kind of gathers out in front of like Luigi's place there, that intersection by Flo's V8 Cafe, and some of the cars will come out and people dance around, all the neon turns on, and it's really, really cool. I mean, if you miss it, you miss it, but it is pretty cool. It's one day. So I would recommend that. And Scott, I think I'm 100%, you've told me this and I agree because you've done this a couple of times. Fantasyland at Rope Drop at Disneyland. It is incredible. Not only do you get on so many attractions so fast, but while you're going from attraction to attraction, every time I've done this, you'll see characters just walking around and riding the attractions. Like on the carousel, you'll see like the Mad Hatter and Alice and marching bands will be walking through Fantasyland. I mean, it is like a commercial. It is why, like, you'll see Alice hopping on the ride. We saw that our last trip out there, I think. Like,
yeah, Mike, I was going to throw in one additional comment. And that was going to be it for the one day. Like, we got a rope drop, and depending on where you're traveling from, it's kind of easy to, like, if you're coming from like an Eastern or Central time zone, it's really easy to rope drop there because you're just going to be up naturally early. But yeah, kind of rope drop Disneyland and go straight to Fantasyland. You might be tempted to go to Galaxy's Edge or Adventureland or something, but you can do so much in that Fantasyland, especially if you skip Peter Pan. Like, if you go to Peter Pan first, you're going to wait a while. It's just something, I don't know what it is about Peter Pan on both coasts. it's just always a long line. But if you skip Peter Pan, you can almost do everything like in the first hour in Fantasyland. And my secret strategy, because it's my favorite Disneyland attraction, I go to Alice in Wonderland first. Just in case if it breaks down later in the day, like I just want to have that opportunity to do it because I think it's the coolest dark ride that they have at Disneyland. But you're just gonna have a blast. One full day, Amy, you're gonna have so much fun, and you're gonna be really tired at the end of the day. I can tell you that.
It's tired, but happy tired, and you're not
happy tired, right?
But out of Disneyland though, like it's not humid, like it's not as exhausting. For some reason, like,
I think it is. I know,
actually. Like it doesn't get me as bad out there for some reason, and I think maybe it's because it's like on the West Coast.
I think it's more exhausting to me because of you don't have like the transportation like you would at Walt Disney World, like the Skyliner and the boats or the buses, and then you feel like, oh, it's so easy to park off, like because you ran into this over the race weekend, Mike. We never went back to our room. Like we always have every intention of taking a break.
I know, but I loved it. Like
we don't.
That's
why I feel more tired because I don't get my swimming time.
Dude, I was in heaven, man. I was like, I love this place. Let's get on the canoes. That's what I kept saying. Let's go.
Yeah, you wore us out, Mike, man. We like to chill, and you did not. You had no chill in you.
Yeah, I love that place, man. It's my jam. Okay, Jacob's got a question. Hey, happy new week, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scotty G. We have officially hit our activity booking window on our first ever Disney Wish cruise. So far, we've booked every snorkeling activity we can, a catamaran snorkeling tour in Nassau, and snorkeling at Castaway Cay. Big snorkeling fans. He says, our kids are 10, 8, and 6. Should we bring our own floaties, life vests, or will these be provided for our kids? As always, stay awesome, and we'll see you real soon. Jacob from Arkansas, fellow original Missourian and current cheer dad. I just want to be like Mike. Mike. And they booked with us at the Magic for Less, and we appreciate that very much. And I know Jacob's getting super excited to take his kids on the Disney Wish for the very first time. We've been chatting a little bit, so I could not be more excited for Jacob and his family. So Pam, I've told him this. I don't snorkel, but my daughter, you have adopted Mallory as far as snorkeling at Castaway Cay. Like she nonstop talks about this like through her whole childhood, not just like for a day. Like her whole childhood is you snorkeling with Mallory. So give him some advice here.
So at Castaway Cay, they will actually require you to use their vests. They're a real bright, like lizard yellowish, greenish color, right? But everyone who's snorkeling has to wear them. I think that you hear the lifeguards there on their chair about 200 times a day yelling to people, if you're going to snorkel, you need to use a life vest, and you do have to use their life vest. And it's really just so they can keep track of you a little easier. So they will do that for you at Castaway Cay. And I would imagine that they do it at the other specific port adventures as well. It's a safety concern. I would think I like having my own mask. It's nice. I don't always bring it just because of luggage room. Sometimes I do end up using the ones that Disney provides there at Castaway Cay, and they're fine. And the other thing is usually, since there will be people who show up for these excursions and don't even have any of their own equipment, I'm pretty sure that they're going to have vests for you and things like that. So go and enjoy. I think, so my tip for this is at Castaway Cay, if you can snorkel early in the day, like as soon as you get off the ship, you're going to have clearer waters and probably some more fish there, because there haven't been a whole bunch of people there who can stir up the bottom of the ocean and scare away some of the fish, although they're very hard to scare away, I will say.
Well, too, you got to get to them before lunch, because that they do have fish at Cookies and Cookies too.
Right, and that's true.
I heard a rumor that on days where there's no ships at Castaway Cay, they still shout that out 200 times a day to put on your life vest, because there just can't be a day at Castaway Cay where that's
right.
not spoken.
Yes, 100%. It's to keep your voice in tune and ready to go.
They had to keep training for that moment.
That's right. Yes.
And he's a cheer dad, and they use the cheer megaphone, right?
They do.
Oh, put the life vest on, or whatever. Got to use the official.
I feel like packing the masks they make these days are really cool. You can get some really cool masks on Amazon, and they're relatively inexpensive. Like we bought some for when we went to Hawaii, so if you want to bring your own mask, you definitely can, like Pam was saying. But the trick is packing. Like if you're going on a cruise and you want to have all these different outfits because you get sweaty in one day and you have like a nighttime outfit or whatever. Like
the shoes.
Yes, the shoes. I wish you could like. You know how you like with a Ziploc bag, you can air like your shoe. Like I need some kind of way where you can like shrink your shoes or do something, right? Like,
yes. And it's everyone, guys and girls. Like if you have to bring dress shoes and then other shoes and then here shoes for this, then beach shoes.
Okay, let's take a pause here. Hang on. Hot take second. What do you guys think of the change on the Disney Cruise Line where guys can wear shorts at Palo now?
For brunch, I think it's fine.
Brunch is. I mean, I dined with a guy wearing a Hawaiian Owl Viking shirt at Palo for. So if that was allowed, I'm surprised they didn't allow shorts sooner. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I will just say this, and I know people have very strong feelings about this, but
think oh my god, that's awesome.
Right? I know, like I'm afraid people are gonna like fist fight. But what other people are wearing to dinner doesn't really impact me.
That's how I feel.
I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I really don't care.
So I jokingly say at work, like, some of my nicest clothes are like my golf shorts. Like some of those are better than some of the pants. Like wearing jeans to work. Like, why can't I wear nice golf shorts to work? I can wear jeans. So, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's totally fine.
Tom over on Instagram says men only need 2 pair of shoes. I don't know what kind. I mean, what golf shoes and regular shoes? I don't know what kind, but yeah, men only need 2 pair of shoes.
What about the flip flops? What about those?
I don't know. We need more information.
Sometimes when you go to Castaway Cay, you need more than 1 pair of shoes because if you want to ride bikes and then like go on the beach, like you need multiple footwear. Just
Scotty G needs Crocs. I mean,
no,
I know I'm the weirdo that wears Crocs. I know.
No,
I wear Crocs too. I actually do wear Crocs. So.
You have every right to tease me on that one. Absolutely.
It's fun. You own it.
I've never been able to wear flip flops or sandals. I
don't like flip flops either. They hurt my toes. Okay, next. This is like the share session.
TMI.
Our listeners either.
I don't want to hear about Mike's feet, man. No.
I got my right foot's wrapped because I got the biggest blister the other day.
Okay, no.
Okay, Cindy's got a question. Hey, Mike and crew, love the podcast. And you all are my first line of inspiration. Well, sorry that we just, she's like, God, I used to love that show.
Like, then they got into the toe talk.
For the last 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I am most definitely the Disney lover in my family and most definitely the planner. My husband threw me a curveball when he asked if we could go to a nice dinner out while we're in Disney World in September. I will also include our 7-year-old daughter. We aren't overly fancy people, but we do enjoy a nice dinner with atmosphere. We have 3 resort days built into our trip, but one of them is going to include Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Any suggestions? Thanks. Cindy's up in Ontario, Canada. So they are not overly fancy people, but they do enjoy a nice dinner that does have atmosphere. So what does that have you thinking, Pam Forrester?
I think that the nice dinner shouldn't be a curveball. I think it should be included in every vacation. So, but no, I totally get what you're saying. And the good news is there is really only one restaurant in Walt Disney World where I think it's overly fancy, right? And that's Victoria and Albert's. And really any other restaurant that I've been in, there are kids, there's noise, they don't have a dress code. The dress code is in keeping with the restaurant, and it says no tank tops, I think, and ripped jeans.
Just kidding.
Jorts.
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 It's Florida, man.
It's
gotta be Jorts.
Right. It should, yeah. Thinking all that's in the fine print. It's unwritten. It's like in between, you got to read between the lines. Yeah. But anyway, so anyone else, any other restaurant, I think you can go to. So if you're looking for a nicer experience, one of the signature restaurants, I think one that is absolutely something that will appeal to children and adults alike is Narcoossee's. And I will say that if you can time it so that you're there when the fireworks happen, you're going to have a great view of the fireworks. So that's absolutely going to be one of my recommendations. If you're looking for something not quite as nice, but still nice, then I would give Ale and Compass a try. I think that they have great food. It is I won't say it's an over the top atmosphere, but it's a dark sort of, I love the colors. When they redid this restaurant, I was like, I love this. Like, it's dark wood. And when I say dark, I don't mean dark wood. It's like navy blue. It's really a beautiful restaurant, and the food there is fantastic.
See, I found a photo of Captain's Grill like on my phone the other day. It just popped up as a memory. I'm like, whoa. I totally forgot it used to look like that in there.
Yes. Before it was redone, it was so over the top, like 80s. There was wallpaper that had a teeny tiny print on it. It was like burgundy, navy blue, and cream. It needed done so bad.
Captain's Grill had a good breakfast.
Well, and Ale and Compass has a good
does too.
I know it does, but so did Captain's Grill. I mean, don't be dogging on that. So
the wallpaper.
I don't care about wallpaper. Here's the deal, and I like 80s aesthetic, so that's me. But here's the deal: to me, Narcoossee's is fancy, like fancy. But I love. The Len's got one in the chat. Len in Maryland says Boma, and I think this one kind of it hits everything because it's got a lot of atmosphere. You're at Animal Kingdom Lodge. You can see the animals, especially the 7-year-old daughter. I think she would love that. Got a wide variety of foods. I think that'd be a perfect. It's not.
Yeah, my problem with that though, I want to be waited on in a moment like this. You know, I don't want to have to wait and stand holding a hot plate for 15 minutes to get my Boma mustard. And that, I mean, I love doing that. Don't get me wrong, but if we're talking about like this nice, like they might dress up a little bit or whatever. Like I don't want to go to Boma necessarily. You know.
And here's the question. The question about Boma. Do you try to carry the soup bowl with your other plate, or do you go back? Like, what kind of person are you?
I'll bring them both. I mean, I'm not.
You're both. You're holding them both.
I got big hands. Yeah.
Oof, that's risky.
I know. That's
I
me
hate to see you fumble that one.
I was a tight end. I can do it.
We gotta ask Boma servers. Percentage of people trying to carry both end up dropping.
You know, they probably have side action every night on what the
is of like yes. Yeah, you're like green shirt over there, over under. Gonna drop it? Not.
In conjunction with Pam's answer, I'll go the other way with the entertainment with great atmosphere. I would go with Topolino's Terrace as another great one because you can see the fireworks. I love the atmosphere in there. I think even for a 7-year-old, they would like it. And it's cool to see the Riviera Resort, I think, personally. So that would be my other option.
Good choices. The only other one I'd throw in was Whispering Canyon. Now, that's not going to be as fancy, but it's kind of interesting, like over at the lodge.
And I think the Wilderness Lodge is a great location too.
For sure.
That it's just every time I go there, even I think to myself, why am I not staying here? Like, you know what I mean? I know. You're like, wait, why am I not staying here? Why am I staying wherever I'm staying?
I know where I might want to go on my next trip though. I was looking at ADRs today. And Pam, have you been to the new Mexican restaurant, like at the Swan and Dolphin? Like,
no, I haven't.
The menu looks really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And they put out some good food over there at some of the Swan and Dolphin restaurants. So I think that would be a fun one too.
And Mike, when you bring up the menu, there's how they have like sections like your mains, your appetizers, whatever. There's just a guacamole section of the menu.
Holy guacamole.
With like five or six different options. Like, I love it.
Yes. This is how every restaurant.
Do they have you can sign up for like a guacamole tasting, like a tequila flight?
Awesome.
Well, there is a trio. Guacamole plates, yeah. So they do have a guacamole flight, Mike.
So what are the trios? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember. So I think they have like a base, and then you can add on to it, kind of a thing. So like I know I would rather have like some just 3 different like super unique ones instead of like a base and then add.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how Maya Grill had like the weird like strawberries, which I liked when they did that. But so it's stuff like that, but still kind of cool. I think I need to add that restaurant to my list though. I think it looks really good based on the menu.
So on the way to Springfield, when we had to cheer the state a couple weeks ago, we stopped at this Mexican restaurant to get fajitas on the way down, right? Because we're on the way. And yeah, it's like, oh, cool. We try a new Mexican place and the killer fajitas, really good. But we tried the guacamole, right? They brought it out, and I love guacamole, right? So I liked it, but it had peanuts in it. Dude, Pam is still talking about how mad she was that she got shorted guacamole that night because she didn't like the peanuts in it.
Interesting.
Like,
It is
the
interesting.
guacamole had peanuts in it. I'm like, yeah, it was different. I didn't like it. I'm like, it was like one Friday night where you didn't like the guacamole. I mean, it's fine.
You know, though, when you're waiting for it, like you want it to be good.
Sorry, it was different. I mean, we had it again probably 2 nights later, and it was our normal guacamole at El Azteca. It was fine.
So, okay. Mike, do you ever not order the fajitas if you're at a new Mexican restaurant?
No, because I used to forever. I got the number 15, which is like a burrito and the combo platter. But I've been on a fajita kick since before marathon weekend. I started eating like that because I wanted more protein. But I've been jamming the fajitas ever since.
Fajitas.
Yep. There's my order. So now I got a blister and I eat fajitas every night. Okay, so Melissa's got a question here. Oh my gosh, she's in Hawaii.
You really went down a rabbit hole with that question.
Yeah,
we did, yeah. And then on the next episode,
speaking of protein, apparently I haven't had enough protein today because my brain's not working. Here we go. Well, I mean, I did record already one show, and we're gonna do another one after this. Hey, Mike and BOGP team, I'm thinking of taking my daughter for her first trip to the world this December. We'll be visiting family for the holidays and want to add a quick 2 to 3 day trip at the end of our visit. She'll just be turning 2 at the time. There's so many things I want to do and see with her that I don't know where to begin. Should we stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge to see the animals, Wilderness Lodge for the Christmas magic, a value resort because she's 2 and won't know the difference? Where would you guys choose to stay and why? I'm also thinking of skipping the park hopper because her park stamina won't be great at only 2. But which parks would you prioritize? What are some must-do attractions? She put shoes, but I think she means shows or meals. Thanks so much for all the Disney tips over the years. I've been a listener since our first trip in 2016. Thank you. Melissa is in, oh my gosh, help me out, Scott. Kailua? 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 Am I saying that right? Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Yeah, that sounds right. Like it's just phonetic. The vowels are pronounced differently in Hawaii, but it's really just
okay.
Yeah.
What's that? In Hawaii?
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Over in the islands. So
that sounds right to me. That's a big trip to go all the way out there to Florida. I like it.
So man, a lot of questions there. And
I was taking notes. So I want to start off where they should stay. And I love the Wilderness Lodge idea because
that's what I was going to say.
Pam was just talking about it. Like every time she's like walks through there, she's like, dang it, why am I not staying here?
That's true.
And we always think about, I never really been at Christmas time or in December really, but this is like where I would stay, I think, like with the tree and everything. And like you're close to the Magic Kingdom because I think that's a park that they're going to want to go to often, right? With the 2-year-old, even if they're only there for a couple of days, I think that's going to be that, and Animal Kingdom would be the 2 parks I think they would want to focus on personally.
You just nailed it. I would say Wilderness Lodge, prioritize Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom with a young child. The toddler's going to love the animals. And of course, Magic Kingdom's got the characters,
and,
the fantasy.
And Festival of the Lion King, we're talking about shows. As Pam would say, hello, Festival of Lion King.
I like that show too.
Mm-hmm.
What else, Pam? What are you thinking?
I think the tendency here with the young child and having it be your first trip is it is going to be overwhelming because you want to see and do it all. But I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is you can't do it all. So prioritize and go with the flow as much as possible. This trip is going to be magical no matter what you do. It really, truly will be. Sort of try to keep on your schedule if you can. And, at times, if she's a morning person, get there in the morning, do some stuff. If she takes a nap, try to make that happen. I know it's hard when you're not at home, but you'll save yourself some grief. Pick a character meal to attend. I would absolutely do that. And the reason why is it's more controlled. It's a character greeting opportunity, and you get to see a few of them, and you get to enjoy a meal. And I think it's just more relaxed than maybe waiting in that line and then you're sort of thrust in there with the characters, and sometimes that's all a lot for a kid. Like then you have to get out of there within the next minute. You know what I mean? That's a lot. I feel like a character meal sort of eases you into that experience so that you see how everyone relates to the characters, and it's a more relaxed atmosphere. So give that a try. And just consider, I think a lot of the shows are going to be fun. I think that Disney does so much with shows that make them entertaining to everyone. And it's a great exposure, especially for a younger child.
Yeah, like Felicia says, man, time change is going to kick them.
It is. Luckily, they're going to be in Orlando for a while before, it sounds like. So that may be to help you. Yeah, but the time change is a lot.
Yeah, I'd say too for that meal, like Crystal Palace would be a good one right there.
I love the character meal idea. Everything you said there, Pam, was spot on. Yeah, just go with the flow, like they say in the Finding Nemo show. So if you make your way over to the Finding Nemo show, just go with the flow.
It's true.
Off the rails. Let's go to the last question of the day. Okay, it's from Aaron. He says, "Hello, BOGP crew. First of all, thanks for all you do. You bring an infectiously positive mood to the world that seems full of negativity and people who aren't happy unless they're complaining. So thank you for brightening all of our days."
So we try.
We're infectiously positive and all kinds of stuff. All right, now I have a few questions. He says, for all of them, I know your responses will simply be your best guesses, so don't worry. I'm not looking for exact answers. Well, good, because
we rarely have them. We rarely have them.
It makes me feel good. Aaron, I love you for giving us that leeway. He says, we're staying at Pop for the last week of June this year to give you an idea about crowd levels. He followed up and he also said, I should probably know that we don't have our own car. It's just going to be buses and Skyliners. Okay, here we go. And when I reference going to a park, you can assume I mean whichever is farthest from Pop. If we want to rope drop a park, taking advantage of early entry, how early should we leave our hotel room? 60 minutes prior to opening, 90 minutes prior to opening? That's the first question. I'm one of those people, dude. I'm there so early. Like if I want to get there early, and he says leaving your room. Would you leave your room 60 minutes early or 90 minutes early? Like what's your strategy if you want to really take advantage of early park entry? What do you do?
I try to get in by the skin of my teeth. Like I try to be there. Like I am there for early entry. I'm walking in as they're entering. Like I try to be in that first wave.
Yeah. And there's going to be people ahead of you in that case. So if they want to be like the first ones, it's 90 minutes. 90. Like if this is really important part of the vacation, like I would go with 90 minutes because who knows, you might be waiting for a bus for a little while too and all that. So, and I know what you were going to say, Mike, you love to be early for everything. I think the three of us like to do that. But yeah, in this case, yeah, I think 90 minutes is your safe bet. But I personally would do 60 if it was me.
See, I'm a 90 guy because I think with that 30 minutes that you're going to eat up in the morning, you're going to probably get a return of probably an hour later on in the day because you're going to get so much more done if you're in the front of that crowd. Like Pam is right. She could roll in with early entry right then and kind of be in that first wave. But if you're in front of that first wave, you're probably going to get more done than Pam by an attraction or two, and you're going to at least make up 30 minutes on Pam.
You are not getting more done than
I think so. If you go the right way. He continues, though. What sections of the park are actually open during early entry? For example, I know you can't head straight to the Jungle Cruise as that section of the park won't be opened yet. Okay, so let's use the Magic Kingdom for an example. What they're going to do is hold you at like the land entries, right? So they're going to hold you at like the Tomorrowland kind of gate, that sign that says Tomorrowland, or at the castle where you can head back into Fantasyland. That kind of basically the hub spokes. They're going to hold you there. Yeah. And then when it's time, it's kind of like the running of the bulls, but it's the walking of the bulls. And so you prioritize, like, do I want to head to Space Mountain? Do I want to head to and then when it goes, then do I want to Jungle Cruise? Because that'll be, the major e-tickets are going to be open.
But the early entry is only certain lands, which that might be what they're talking about, because like you can only go towards, because they'll check your Magic Band or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's like Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, if I recall, are the two that are open.
Yep.
So I would target that area, like a Space Mountain, if you want to do like an e-ticket, like a Seven Dwarfs, Peter Pan, or like a Space Mountain, maybe.
Okay. And he also says, how long might a bus trip take going back from a park to pop for a midday break, say around 12:30 to 1. Now, here's the big variable. So the midday break, taking a bus back. This is the one, the buses don't run as frequently midday. So, in the mornings, they're going to send a lot of buses because a lot of people are heading to and from the parks, right? There's a lot of more people moving from park to park and resort to park. It like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, there's obviously not as many people leaving the Magic Kingdom to go back to the resort and so forth and going from the resort to the park. So God, it's such a crapshoot in the middle of the afternoon because you could walk right up on a bus that's sitting there and it could be getting ready to roll. And you're just like, jackpot, I'm going to be back at my resort. Because Pop Century is about a 15-minute ride from Magic Kingdom. But I mean, you could have just missed it. And in that case, man, you might be sitting there for 30 minutes. I mean, worst case, you're probably sitting there for probably 15 or 20.
But the good news is because you're staying at Pop Century and it has a sister resort, you can take a Pop Century resort or you could take an Art of Animation resort bus and just walk over to Pop Century from Art of Animation. So that's something to think of too. It is a crapshoot, but I've literally never waited that long for a bus, I will say.
Agreed. And I will just throw in there, that is like one of my favorite things. Like I'm telling you, I'm like the chill guy from that old video. Like I love the midday bus ride back because like I know I'm gonna have a seat.
Right.
And it's hot, the air conditioning is gonna be blasting, it's gonna feel good. And I can just, because I'm normally like the driver like of the family. Like, I mean, we all drive, but like I do most of it. So it's just nice to like sit down and like just relax for like 15 minutes on the way to the resort after I'm like exhausted from being in the parks.
Yes, knowing that you're going to be able in your room soon.
Yes.
You're going to be able to put on your bathing suit and go down to the pool.
Yes, I know. And knowing like if I was already there at rope drop, like I've already done so many things already too. Like you're just ahead of the curve. And now, and that walk out is so much fun when you're walking out and people are walking in. You're like, see you suckers, I'm going to the pool and I've done everything already.
Right.
Yeah, because it's hot. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. I mean, it's very rare you have to wait that long. But I mean, that is kind of, I am one of those people that always plan for the, I always plan for the worst. And then, if it doesn't happen, then I'm like, oh yeah, score. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that at least I am ready and I can get back there. So especially like on my, like, this way I think about it, like on my departure day, right? If I have, say, like a mid-afternoon flight and I go to the Magic Kingdom for a little fun in the morning, I leave way earlier than I need to because I'm like, oh man, because like I go back to my hotel and get my checked luggage that's at Bell Services. I always leave the Magic Kingdom way too early because
and that's when the bus driver is standing there like, hey man, I'm just waiting for you to get here.
Always, right? Always, because I'm always scared that like that's going to be the day that I have to wait 30 minutes for a bus to show up, and the bus is always sitting there. And then what do I have to do? I go back to the hotel and I'm sitting in the lobby for 30 minutes.
And it doesn't even sit there either. Like you hop on and like, all right, yep, we're ready to go.
Like, dang. I'm like, oh. Yeah, totally. It's always like that, but it's just one of those things. It is a crapshoot, but yeah, you're right. I mean, as soon as you get on that bus, chilling in the air, you can catch up on your social media. You can go to sleep. And a lot of times I'll take a nap till I get back there to pull my hat down. I'm out. All right. Great questions, Aaron, and great questions, everybody. So if you have a question, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get on those next Wednesday, but hope you enjoyed today's show. Now, let me remind you of one thing. And Scott, I saw you were doing this yesterday in the Discord server. I want to think of our Discord server. If you're not over there, go to Discord or go to our Discord server. I think of it kind of like as our little clubhouse for the Be Our Guest podcast. It's a little kind of combination message board / chat room where so many of our listeners have been hanging out over the past couple of weeks. And it is just awesome. It's kind of our community coming alive, helping each other out. And I saw one of our listeners asking about making some ADRs. It was her and her daughter, I think like a 4-year-old daughter. And they're looking for some great character meals. And I saw Scott jumping in, talking about a brunch over at Crystal Palace, getting that little hack of late breakfast, moving into lunch. Some other folks were talking about, hey, don't forget Tusker House, and I never even thought about Tusker House, and like listeners helping each other. We're not just talking about Walt Disney World. We have cruise line, folks going to Alaska for the very first time, and folks that have been there many times giving port adventure advice. And we're talking sports stuff that's not Disney. It's an amazing community, and we're really building that up over the past couple of weeks. We want to keep that momentum going. So if you're not over there, come on over. Just go to beourguestpodcast.com. Scroll down the right-hand side there in the widgets. Just click join the Discord server. It's just like a message board. And join in on the fun. We have a daily trivia question there. Trisha does that up in Wisconsin. It's a lot of fun there. it's really cool. And I just want to thank everybody who's being a part of that. It's been a lot of fun, and just want to keep that going. So come over and join us on the Discord server, and we'll have fun with that. Scott, I get that little, I don't know if you get the sound when somebody posts like on your computer. I get boop, boop, and I love hearing.
I used to have my phone silent, so
I do, and I get excited when I hear it. Anyway, come on over. So today's show, of course, brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're standing by to help you plan a great Disney vacation right now. All the details over at the magicforless.com. But I'll tell you this, no cost to you. Great booking bonuses right now for the first month for those 2025 packages, and lock in. Get that hotel you're looking for 2025. Now's the time. You know, what do they say? Strike while the candle's hot or something? I don't know, whatever it is, the metaphor. It's terrible, but book now. Time is never going to be better. So lock in, $200 deposit, fully refundable until 30 days before the package is due until you travel. So really no risk. So just swing by the magicforless.com. Also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com is it? I forgot. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon.
Whatever.
My brain is fried today, but when you shop online, use that link, and then patreon.com/beourguestpodcast for the Patreon link, and you'll get Mike in the Midwest, our bonus show. And I've already recorded that one for this week, and it's a pretty decent one because we talk about the link between ESPN and Disney, and it's called Cool as the Other Side of the Pillow this week. So come on over and join that. Just $5 a month. You can support the show that way as well. All right, follow Scott, F Scott, EPSCOT, Pam's TMFLT Pam. I'm Be Our Guest Mike, and we'll have our live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a holler. We'll talk Disney on Sunday night. All right, we'll be back again on Friday. It's going to be a fun one. We're talking about the most important 30 minutes of the day on your Disney vacation. All right, so for Scott and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Woo!
I just got out my other laptop here. Are you sending a new link? Or no?
I don't have to. I mean, I can.
Your
It
video
did get better though.
It
did get better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're totally. You got.
I'll skip it all.
Through,
But Mike, Pam, I was gonna show you guys this. Hold on. I think I could share my screen, right? Can you see that?
Not yet. I think it's doing it. Though.
Oh, I have to actually click on something.
I hear a dog. Oh, it's getting ready to do something. Oh, holy guacamole.
So I brought the menu. So yeah, so
bacon and cheese.
I like this crab meat one or like the grilled pineapple.
Pineapple,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So I probably would do, because it says guacamole tasting, try all three. I assume it's these three with the top it offs. So
yeah.
I'll bring it on.
So what you need is a guacamole sampling along with a margarita sampling. For the sampling.
Yeah, but look at that restaurant. Doesn't it look pretty?
It looks beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like I think I got to go to the Dolphin later this month, and like
it looks like a fancy Maya Grill. It looks similar to Maya Grill. It looks very similar.
It's lighter. It's lighter. It's not as dark. But I think it looks awesome.
I do too.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally want to go there. What's it called? Rosa
Mexicano.
Dude, I'm so there.
I was just looking at ADRs and like it popped up. I was like, what is this? Like I've never seen this before.
Sure. All right, let's do this. Here we go.
Oh yeah, and they have like a jalapeno margarita, of course, so I gotta get one of those.
Now I'm really hungry.
I'm sorry.
Catherine, absolutely.
I know, and our dinner is like goulash. Here I am talking about like guacamole and all that.
You know where I'm going.
I'm having the complete opposite.
Catherine, you can just email me, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Just all the pertinence, and I'll take good care of you. Just whenever you're ready. All right, here we go. 2449. Welcome to episode 2449 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. We made it to another weekend. Hallelujah. We needed this one. So we're going to have a good time talking Disney, and we're going to talk about the theme parks down at Walt Disney World. Little nostalgia trip today, but also talking about looking forward at the same time. So looking back, looking forward, and also looking about, talking about our trips right now that we take to the Disney park. So kind of a fun topic today, I think. I've been wanting to do this show for the past couple of weeks, and today's the day. So tune in, get your brain going with us, whether you're on the treadmill, going out for an outdoor run. Hopefully the weather's good for you. Walking the dog, walking the cat, walking the lizard, the guinea pig, doing the dishes, whatever it is you're doing here on a Friday. Let's think about this today together, and then give us some feedback. Let us know on social media. So joining me today, your friend and mine, hashtag Scotty G. Scott, what's on the agenda for this weekend?
Happy Friday, Mike and Pam. And so here's what's happening. I want to get both of your thoughts on this. So tonight is the spaghetti dinner at Okemos High School to support the band, basically, like music's in the school district. And you have to go there and buy this ticket to eat the spaghetti that someone is making in their house and that they just brought over to the school. I personally hate this. Can I just donate money to the school? Why do I have to get the spaghetti to watch my child play her saxophone in this jazz band? Can I just go there and pay for a ticket? Why do I have to dine in there and have someone serve me spaghetti and all this that I don't trust whatever kitchen it came from? I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that, but it's the spaghetti dinner tonight to support Okemos bands, and I'm going to respectfully decline the spaghetti at my table is what I'm going to do, I think.
So one, you would not be a good contestant on Survivor if you can't do this like grandma spaghetti. I mean, they eat crickets and stuff. Come on now. And it's also a test of how much you love the band. I mean, you said you were a big supporter of the drum line.
Oh, I'm a big supporter of the band, and this is Emily's side band. So she's the concert band is the after school the fun gig thing that they do. So they don't play that often. So I got to go see it. But yeah, I want to donate. I want to contribute to the band. I just don't want the spaghetti. I just don't. But
well, Betsy in the chat's with you over on Facebook. She says, donate if you can't guarantee the cleanliness. Yeah. But you know what? I'm of the other thing, because sometimes the best food is of questionable origins.
It's just, it could be a me thing. I want to hear what Pam Scott is on it too. But I'm just not a potluck eater. If it's my people, if I'm going to Pam's house, then obviously, yeah, I'm gonna eat. But if it's some person's Emily's friend's mom that I never met before, or dad making the spaghetti, I don't know. I just don't do potlucks,
Dude, I grew up in a Baptist church, dude. The best food came out of Branson Hall. I'm just saying, right off the sanctuary. It was so good. So I'm just, I took chances, and it worked out well for me most of the time. Go. So
but yeah, go band tonight. I love the event. I love that it raises money for the school and bands. I just don't do the spaghetti.
Take a picture of it. I just want to see it, because
I'll share it with you. I will.
Because I want to be because it could be some of the best spaghetti.
Well, it's crazy. They run a drive-through service too. So people that just don't want to in the community that don't want to go to the show. So they have it's like Chick-fil-A out there. They got people taking orders and taking tickets, and you go through the drive-through and you pick up your spaghetti. It's fun to watch. Yeah, it's interesting. But
all right. Pam Forrester, coder of the Magic for Less. I mean, we last show we talked about shorts at Powell during the brunch. Mm-hmm. Where do you fall on this big controversy?
So I will tell you, Scott, here's what I would do. I would be one of the drive-through people, happy to give the money, take the plate back to my own home, and possibly not eat it. I'm just going to say.
Okay. So thank you, Pam.
I wish, though, literally, I remember when Hannah was doing stuff like this, I'm just let me just write you a check. Right. Please tell me how much how much are you really getting from my $15 spaghetti dinner ticket? Somebody's still doing it. So anyways, yeah, I know I'm with you.
Sometimes I just want to, working at Venmo or write the check to just take the cash.
I'm not always excited about it. And my advice to Hannah often as a teacher is do not eat the food gifts brought in by the children.
Yeah, see, there were times I did that as a teacher. Yes. I'll be honest, when an adult was making it at a church function, I'd usually eat it, because I was that could be something really good, because grandma knows how to cook. But when my kids would bring that thing from home, and they went like through the jungle
Yes.
gym on the way into school. Like I'm
Yes,
they dragged this
exactly.
thing through the dirt. I'm not gonna, but I was always kind. Like when they went to PE,
Yes.
that sucker went out the window when they were in gym class. I mean, was that good, Mr. Ramen? Oh, dude, it was so good. Oh man,
You're
God.
just like, I can't wait to enjoy this at home. I don't want to, eat this in front of everybody else. So no, yeah, I know. And it's sweet. Like she loves all the gifts. Like one of her little pet peeves is the teachers who complain about the gifts. I'm just like, no, but it's just so sweet when anyone thinks of it. Yeah, but I think people are used to their own
Right.
level of
Especially with
cleanliness.
spaghetti. Like I have a certain like sauce meat
Right.
meatball combination. I
Spaghetti
like
is
at home,
very personal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
But-
gonna get there. Jeff Probst is gonna be there, like with a torch. Everybody,
But here we go.
here
Here we go. Just for fun. Follow me on Instagram at @fscott. I will take a bite today. I will take a video and share it
Here
of
we
myself at the spaghetti
There
dinner
you
2
go.
nights.
Okay.
So people can see like what happened, and I'll at least take one bite of spaghetti. I'm paying for it, right? I guess.
Yes.
And then I'll donate it to a homeless shelter. I'll drop it off later tonight or something.
Something.
go.
Yeah.
You may pay for it more ways than one. We'll see. All
But yeah,
right.
sorry I do this, Mike. I apologize. But you
You
asked what I was
hijacked. You
You asked
hijacked.
what I was
the
doing this
show.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike made the mistake of asking. This is what happened.
So when I listen to podcasts, this is my favorite part of the shows. I mean, this is just me, but like I listen to like shows for the main topic, but I love to hear like what people are doing in their life, like the first 5 minutes, little snippet, so you get to know them. And this is really, I mean, it gets to the core of who you are. Like
That's gonna be Mike's next Mike in the Midwest episode is potlucks.
Get potluck dinners in Branson Hall with Bob Warner, the preacher. Anyway, God rest his soul. Okay, so because I'm 50, man. He would have been like 100 at this point. So let's talk about today's topic again. The most 30. So maybe not the. So maybe this is like kind of a bait and switch, but this was I should say a special, very special, like 30-minute window of our Disney vacations. And I was just thinking about this more and more over the past month or so. And as we were going to Walt Disney World when Paige was younger. So let's say when Paige was 10. This was pre-Mallory. So it was just the three of us. It was Pam, Mike, and Paige. And we used to go down, and there was a magic every night that we would see fireworks and a nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom. But we would also do this at Epcot back then with Illuminations and Tapestry of Nations. So you just did this every night. Like it was, very rarely would we ever end up at Animal Kingdom or the studios at night. We always ended at one of those two parks, Epcot or the Magic Kingdom. And it was glorious because you would either do at the Magic Kingdom the late parade in Wishes, or you would do the early parade in Wishes. And then the thing was you could kind of do those rides, right? Like while one of the parades was going on, like you felt like you were like, oh yeah, I'm doing the rides while everybody else kind of camped out watching the parades. But there was just something magical back in the day about that, like 30 minutes to an hour where Wishes was going on and you had the nighttime parade. And we're kind of missing that now. But I think, I don't know, like for something hit me about a month ago, and I don't know like where I read something, but something I read between the lines had me thinking that we might get something that's going to bring that magic back, at least to one of the parks, like the Magic Kingdom or Epcot, where it's going to take us back to a time where like it's must do. Like you have to be in the park at the end of the night. Like I still think that the fireworks shows at the end of the night are tremendous. Happily Ever After, love it. Love Happily Ever After. Haven't seen the new Epcot show yet, the replacement for Harmonious. I've heard it's really good, and I'm excited for that. Still, you guys know how I feel about Illuminations, best show ever. But I just think parade and fireworks at night, nothing was better. And we had this discussion before we started recording. Like, there's so many people in the parks at night. But I mean, my God, were there not people in the parks back then? I mean, I don't know. So I just want to throw this out there. Am I just too nostalgic for the old days? Is it logistically impossible to do this now in 2024? Let's have this discussion. Nighttime, magic, Am I an old man? Like this was like of the past? I mean, could it be done now? Is it not needed? So Scott, you take the floor. I've kind of spit out a bunch of words here for 3 minutes. What do you think?
Well, no, that was a good introduction there, and I do think there are more people now. We can talk about that in a little bit, but I think it can be done because we've seen it just as recent as at Disneyland. We've seen.
Yes,
when we were there in 2022, we did
a great example. It was so perfect. It was so perfect. That picture, I am so happy. We're all together. We're huddling. We're seeing Main Street Electrical Parade. We're seeing fireworks for Main Street. Oh my God, that's like one of my favorite pictures. I'm so happy.
And they've been doing it for a while too. I mean, they had the Paint the Night, which I'm bummed you didn't see that one. I loved Paint the Night. I know Pam saw it. But yeah, it was cool to see Main Street Electrical Parade. And that was just like 2 summers ago. So I know it can be done at Walt Disney World. And my question is, do they need to do it? I don't know. I feel like they're not doing it because maybe they don't need to. I mean, and there's so many people, and that's why I want Pam to chime in here, because she kind of jokingly said, well, what about the people? And I think it's a legit question. Because when the fireworks are done and I'm in the hub area on Main Street, I'm walking like this, shoulder to shoulder. There's nowhere to go.
Same. I've been in that, dude. It's I'm like this. You don't have a choice, dude. Yeah. You're just going with the sea of humanity. You're in the wave.
So maybe it's better if they would have a parade, I guess, because then maybe people would be lined up, ready for the parade. But I think people control, traffic control, whatever you want to call it, would be a nightmare if they're doing that right now, and they got to figure out something there. I want Pam to jump in here.
I don't know. So here's the thing. When we were talking about this before, I said, why does it feel like there's a lot more people in the parks now? Are we just older and crabbier? And
we are.
Taking that number and being when I used to come to the parks.
God, that was 20 years ago. I was 30. You know what I'm saying? It was,
yeah.
My knees didn't creak.
Right. I know. And so that's my other question for all of us. Think about this. If there's a parade and then fireworks, literally you're standing there for 2 hours. You're standing in one place for 2 hours. Mike, are you prepared to do that physically?
No. We sat. We would always go back to Frontierland. We'd sit on that planter by the shooting gallery. We had a spot. And a lot of times for the 11 o'clock parade, I'm not kidding, we'd sit in the rockers. There were rockers back there, either by Hall Presidents. They had them there sometimes. Sometimes they had them by Liberty Tree Tavern. Again, a lot harder to find nowadays because everybody looks for them now. But back in 2009, here's what we used to do.
I think you're going to run into more people though. You're not going to be able to find those seats now.
Right. You're not going to do this now. But back then, this is how cool it was. We were on the dining plan, and so do you remember how every meal you got a dessert? And the dessert was those little chocolate cakes.
Yes. Yeah, there was one dessert at quick service. It was a chocolate cake. It was bad.
It had sparkle, little sprinkles on top, sprinkles.
Yes.
So we would just accumulate these suckers throughout the week, in our backpack, because I always carried a big backpack. And so we'd bust those suckers out at 11 o'clock, sit in those little white rocking chairs and wait for the parade. Dude, I just eat those little things up. God, life could not have been better. And then boom, here comes the Spectral Magic Parade around at 11:30 into Frontierland. I'm like, my God. And we just seen Wishes an hour ago. Yeah, I didn't care.
It was great.
That's why it was so good. So yeah, maybe
that's I think Pam is right. I really do think there are more people in the park at night now, where it's harder to, because I think Pam is right. I think you're gonna have to stand for 2 hours because there's already going to be someone sitting down in your spot. And I kind of have a theory. I don't know exactly where the topic was or where we're going with this, but my theory is that I think people want to get more value for their ticket now because it seems like it's a little more expensive. So I think people just well, if I'm paying this much for a single day ticket, I'm staying all day now, no matter what. And I think you see more people in the parks because of that now at night. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining it, but it feels that way for sure.
Okay. So, say that's true. And I agree with that. And people are going to come back, take midday breaks and come back. But, and we saw, of course, prices increase with tickets every year, and they have for 2025. But if Disney were to bring a nighttime parade back to, let's look at the Magic Kingdom first, because that's kind of the, everybody's main park here. they bring a nighttime parade back, a light parade, say they bring like a paint the night to the Magic Kingdom, something that's new and exciting. Cause they've always kind of recycled the Main Street Electrical Parade in different ways. I'd love to see like paint the night or some kind of variation to that. Cause I never got to see it, but a light up parade to the Magic Kingdom again with a cool soundtrack. I think that would be so exciting because one, it would get a ton of energy to the nights at the Magic Kingdom. But I mean, like Ricky, for example, she's not here today. She never watches the parades. This benefits her because it's going to open up attraction capacity. She's going to be able to run all these rides while people are lining up for the parades. But I just think, forget that. She's going to win big time because she doesn't get to watch parades. But I just think like there is a magic that I had in those, in those times. And it was every time. Like I never left the Magic Kingdom like just I was like floating out of the Magic Kingdom every night when I got to see fireworks in a nighttime parade. Yeah, like I was like humming the Spectral Magic medley every time I walked out of that park.
I love the way you're describing that because it's totally right. It's magic, and it's like it just hype. I call it like my hype music almost. Like it just hypes you up, right? Like you hear all that music, you see all those lights, like the energy is so good, and the Magic Kingdom is missing that. You're right, Mike. I'm not denying that at all. Like it needs it. I just worry about like the crowds, but maybe it'll help spread them out though. Maybe it will help with that. I don't know.
Well, so you mentioned when we went to Disneyland, that was 2022. We were there over the 4th of July. We went there for the 4th of July week. We were there for we did 5 days in the parks, and they had Main Street Electrical Parade running at the time. We did the Main Street Electrical Parade package or something, but you didn't have to. Obviously it wasn't just for those people. We had good seats. But we saw it a second time. We saw it a few times actually while we were there. And I remember one time without the package, I think it was our last night, we went to Gibson Girl. I got an ice cream cone and I just sat right on the curb of Main Street USA and just ate my ice cream as I was waiting it out for the parade. And we'd seen the fireworks. And that's a Disney vacation though, right? It was a nighttime. You're in the parks. You've done your attractions during the day, and now you're going to get an ice cream, slow down. You're a little tired, but you're going to wrap up the show. And I just remember I was eating a Gibson Girl waffle ice cream cone. I think it was Rocky Road and chocolate chip cookie dough. I still remember it. I got a picture. And I just remember the little turtle or whatever, the light up little turtle thing that goes,
oh yeah,
came up to me. And I'm like,
Elliot,
dude, yeah, whatever. I was just like, God, this is amazing. This is why I come to a Disney park. There it is. Yeah, exactly. There it is. He's showing it on the video for the audio people that are listening. I was like, this is exactly, and it was 10:30 at night, right? I'm up past my bedtime. I'm an old dude, but it's and I'm sitting here eating an ice cream cone, it's dripping on me, but I'm like, I am 8 years old again. This is why I'm at Disneyland. But they could do that. I still don't think that has to just be at Disneyland, Pam. It could be done. I don't know what we have to do to get it done, but it could.
Yeah, I think this, the whole topic is sort of, a combination of a few things. First of all, we're all going to romanticize our memories of that, right? Truly, you just are. Whether it was crowd levels or how much we enjoyed it or, any of that. I think that that's part of the equation and you can't deny that. I think, the other thing is now with, especially in the Magic Kingdom, there are 3 different dessert parties to sort of contend with. I think that, when you think about how does that piece, where does that piece fit in? And the hub is very different than it was. Remember, we have not had the nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom since this hub transformation. Oh, have we?
No, but could not the parade follow the same route as Festival of Fantasy?
Definitely could. It's just a matter of, and I think the hub was redesigned to sort of do this, to think about this, right? To have this happen, to allow traffic to sort of flow around these things, which I think was really smart.
Well, why? Plus, not to interrupt you, but also, if people wanted to leave, they now have that backstage, through Tomorrowland, between the restrooms and the plaza. You could go out there while the parade's going on Main Street.
Agreed. You could. You definitely could. I don't know. I don't have the answers as to why this hasn't happened. I think that one of the reasons is one of the things that we all love about it is, first of all, when we're remembering this, we're remembering a park that was not very full. And I think that was one of the things that was so charming about it, that it was almost empty at night. And I will say that happened again and again and again, that the park was not very full. So I wonder, when you're looking at it from a cost perspective, which every business has to do, when you're doing this for a kind of empty park, is it worth it? And also, I think that there were lots of complaints that people had that the fireworks were not early enough in the night, right? They brought kids there, everyone's staying up way past their bedtime. It feels like every night. And then the fireworks aren't there. This is just, I don't have any like behind the scenes insight into this. This is just, things that I thought would, I'd point out. I think, it being in the parks at night is still kind of magical. I mean, Disney has sort of shifted from having the fireworks be like the period on the end of the night to sort of having it be like the fireworks happen and then there's still some time to enjoy the parks, which I think has been a good switch. I think it sort of gives people the opportunity to leave. To those who want to still experience an attraction, they have that. But I will say, and it's funny that Lisa's mentioning this, there are people that I absolutely know that were like, the parades just clog up the whole works. And I was like, oh.
In there, yeah, because people definitely have opinions, right?
They do, yeah.
Parades are just they're a nightmare. They're logistical. They clog everything up. I can't get from one side of the park to the other. Like if I want to go from Jungle Cruise to Space Mountain, it's a nightmare because then I got to go all the way through Fantasyland. It's a wreck. I got to go through Small World. I get it, but I mean, God, it's my best memories. And like, I just wanted to just talk this through because that's what today's show is. And I just want to get what people say and especially jump over on the Discord for this. Cause I think this is going to be a great conversation to have over the weekend. But
I think so too.
I think as I think about this, you mentioned like the fireworks time, right? And I think the fireworks to be magical have to be a certain amount of late. Like you got to have them like no earlier than like 9:30. Like there has to be like a certain amount of late, but then I've had some of my most glorious times is post fireworks, like running around with your chicken with your head cut off, like trying to get as many attractions in with like your friends or your kids, like especially kids that are like, say, like teens, like maybe early teens, like, okay, we're going to do this. Like we're going to do all the e-tickets now until the park closes. How many can we get in? Like almost make it a challenge. We're going to go do Space. We're going to go do Big Thunder at night. We're going to go do, back in the day, we're going to do Splash, at night. We're going to get wet. We're going to try to sneak into Pirates. Jungle Cruise at night. It's Jungle Air. And like, I just remember like, you're doing all these things like you're going to try to get as much in as you can before that park closes. In those times at night, post fireworks, post the main Spectrum Magic or Main Street Electrical Parade were just frenetic, but they were like, it was like just so awesome. I mean, Scott, you probably had that too.
Oh yeah, totally had that. And Pam, you just said something that made me think about like they still do like the Halloween and like the Christmas parades at night, and maybe it's because of they can control how many people are in there, like by selling the amount of hard tickets. So it could be a capacity thing. Who knows? And like, because like I know what Mike's saying. Like it is like a nightmare around the hub if you're trying to get to like Tomorrowland from like Adventureland or whatever, and like they're stopping you. You got to wait for like the parade route to go through. It can be a nightmare sometimes too. But and I'm not trying to sound like negative all this. I want this to happen. I really do. Because Mike, you are right. That energy is so fun at night. And then it's kind of like I kind of feel about the after party events. How like that's how I am like with like the run around with it like a chicken without its head. Like I am trying to do everything at those after hour events because the crowds are kind of lower. Most of the attractions are open. There's just this energy with it. Everyone's eating Mickey bars. Everyone's getting all sugared up on ice cream and stuff. It's so much fun. And that's how those previous nights used to be. And I just wish there was a way they could do it. Maybe they could add more hours onto the night. We were talking about that before we recorded this show too, right? Is like, maybe if they would stay open later more often, that would give them that chance to open up adding a parade, because it could be like later in the night, maybe like a 10:30 parade or something, and maybe the crowds will thin out a little bit more. People are tired, they go back to the resort, and that could give them that opportunity if they have later hours in the day.
So I think that is something that the guests would really like, right? Because I mean, again, you're paying a certain amount to get into the park, and more park hours obviously gives you more value for your ticket. You know, I mean, it just makes like if you're looking at cost per hour, you know, if you do an analysis, I don't look at it that way. I never look at it that way. But if you did, obviously your ticket is worth more if you get an extra hour in the day to do more things. I mean, obviously most people don't use every hour of the day because it's exhausting. You know, it's like it's more about quality than quantity for me all the
But
time.
then there's the cost, right? You got all those performers that are going to be in this parade and all
You
that.
have the merchandise. I mean, again, you have so many variables, right? I mean, your restaurants could be open. You could be selling more merchandise. I mean, we've talked, you and I talk about this stuff all the time, like, you know, about the logistics of Walt Disney World. And like, I'd love to have, you know, just on property, like 5 seconds, like, you know, it'd be crazy. Like how many
5-second cash grab. Here we go.
Like for 5 seconds, like on property, like, you know, like think about this cash register. Anyway, we talk about that all the time. But like, okay, so here's one thing I just wanted to ask, like Pam. Okay, so drones, like they do them in Paris. They're incredible. They do them at all the ball games now. And it's kind of the elephant in the room. And they did them at Disney Springs a few years ago. They brought us down for a media event. They flew them over Disney Springs. I had to pick my jaw up off the ground behind the Gloria Estefan restaurant when I was standing there. I was like, dude, fireworks are going to be, they're going to be extinct in 6 months. Nobody's ever going to shoot fireworks off again. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. They're never going to use them at Walt Disney. And then they didn't do them. I mean, are we ever going to see drones? Do you think, like, you know, with something like that, just to really bring people in, you know, to kind of take it to the next level?
I hope if we do, that it is a combination show, right? Because first of all, I'm just not even prepared for the level of backlash they would get if they did remove fireworks and did a drone show, right? I mean, I can't even imagine. People would lose their dang minds. So regardless of the reason why, and I think that there is an opportunity for both, right? I think that there is an opportunity for a show that combines both. I think the things that the drones can do are fantastic. And I think Disney is the perfect company to take something that we're seeing other places like ball games and whatnot and blow it out of the water, right? You have some of the most creative people in the world working there, and their goal is to entertain us with all the things that technology can do. And for a company that maybe struggles with app technology, show technology, and things like that piece of it, they're fantastically good at. So I would love to see them take a stab at something like this. And maybe this is the answer for an Animal Kingdom evening show.
Yes, perfect example.
Right? Exactly.
It's friendly to the animals because there's 100%. No
100%.
explosions. They're silent, basically. But
right.
Yeah, and I never even thought about it.
And you got a theater for it, right, Pam?
Oh yes.
My gosh. I never even thought about that. But this ticks off like every box for Animal Kingdom.
It does. And I, you know, constantly, every time when I saw the first incarnation of that Tree of Life show at night, it was fantastic and beautiful and crisp. And I always just felt like, dang, you know, this and drones would work so well together. When they do projection well, they do it really well. And I will not say that I'm always impressed with the water projection, but when they do it on dang. But when they do it on a static building, I think they can really do great things. Like, think about the holidays, even when they project things on the Tower of Terror.
Oh, yeah.
At times it doesn't even look like the Tower of Terror.
Right.
There are sections of the fireworks on the Magic Kingdom where it literally looks like the castle has vanished into the background and there's a rocket that is shooting into the air.
The first time I saw that rocket effect on Cinderella Castle, I swear that thing was going up in the air. I'm like,
right?
My jaw. I was like, dude, that castle just blasted. I was like, it just went up in the air. Like, what? Like, you're not kidding. It's so
good.
Like, it's unreal.
It's good. They do a great job. So, and they did with the Tree of Life too. I think that's, you know, a cool thing. And hello, Spaceship Earth. I mean, look at they've done, now this is different because it's lights, but they've, had other things like that too. I think it's just incredible.
Well, they did
So
the
I
Monsters
would
Inc.
love,
thing that one year when I was
right.
there, which was super cool.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, just lots of opportunity here. I don't know why we haven't seen more of the drone thing. I don't know if there's something in with the technology, with radio frequency, with however they're doing them. I don't know if it's a safety concern. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it seemed like Disney was really leaning into it, and they're doing it at Disneyland Paris. I'm just not sure why it's happening here. And I would love to hear our listeners' opinions on that. Like,
Right.
There are people, I mean, we all are Disney fans, and that's, part of what this podcast is. But there are people who take deep dives into everything that Disney does that they have great opinions, and I would love to hear why they think this is not happening.
Yeah, because I thought they were so close. Because when they brought us down for that media event, I think it was in 2016 at this point, and it was at Disney Springs. Like, I remember being on the bus, and like they handed us like a white sheet, like a white paper, and it told us like all about the drones. Like there was a partnership with Intel. It gave us like the chips that were in the drones. I mean, it gave us all the information of this show that they were taking us to see. And I was like, dude, I mean, if they're giving us this kind of information, this is like imminent. Like this is going to happen. And then they did it for that because they did it for
happened that year. We saw it on New Year's Day with the
it was that Christmas season. They did it, and then it didn't go anywhere. And then now they're doing it. I mean, places like Holiday World in Indiana, they did it all last summer. So I was at the theme, amusement park. It's
gotta be something about like Pam keeps saying, like if
it's got to be
something goes wrong, man, the liability.
He's supposed to get donked. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, here's the thing, dude. I mean, more than once I've been donked at Epcot by a shell. I mean, I brought one home on New Year's Eve. Like, I mean, it was not small. Like, I got bonked right too with a piece of a shell. The illuminations hit me right in the nose. So I'm just saying, and I mean, it happens. I didn't say anything. I was like, ooh, souvenir. I love illuminations. So it's probably in the garage because I keep stuff like that. I kept a pine cone. I brought it home from Hurricane Charlie. But okay, so let's kind of wrap this up. So night times though are still magical at all the theme parks.
Yes.
I mean, you can still be frenetic and try to get all those things in at the end of the day.
100%.
But let's ask, okay, blue sky. Like if we could ask, like somebody, and like they're like, okay, what could we do though, besides the things we've kind of discussed to make like the nighttime a little bit better? So we're saying a couple things, maybe add a little extra hours if we could. That's one of the suggestions. We've nighttime parade, possibly look into that. Is there anything else, Scott, that you could think of that would make the night times even better?
I think, and I mean, Pam went to that Jollywood Nights, I think more like hard ticket events. Like I like them trying new things, like, maybe, just maybe explore some new options for some nighttime events. Maybe we talked about this, Mike. Weren't we talking about like the adults only like nighttime thing, like on a podcast, like a live show once?
Yeah.
And where we like brought in like live music and all that. Like I think that would just be so much fun. So like try to like experiment a little bit where maybe just a few attractions are open, but like you do like this like super cool like food festival during Food and Wine at Epcot, and then you have bands out playing. Like I don't know. I just think trying like some of these more hard ticket events to keep the parks open later, because the parks don't have to be rides and everything, it can just be cool little things that they can just like build and pop up these little sets that could be kind of different, or even like a character thing at nighttime too, like meet all these characters at night, like like you're during the day you focus on the attractions and you do this after dark event where they have all the characters out and you do a bunch of meet and greets. I don't know, there's so many opportunities. I think
I agree. And you don't know until you give it a shot, right? Because the thing is, Disney has done things, but I think a lot of times, I think they don't give them a lot of time to kind of to gain traction, because a place like Walt Disney World, people aren't going to get down there right after they see it. Because like if I see it in St. Louis, it's going to take me a little bit of time to plan a vacation, to take time off from work, to schedule things, to logistically make the plan. Like I see something and it's like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. But a place like Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the locals jump out there and get to do it. Like, oh, I saw that, I want to do that like next weekend, like, because it's more locals. But like for me, oh, I want to do that, looks so cool, I got to do that. But typically for me, the lead time is at least like 3 months to like get down there and try to jump on something. So
Or way even more than that. I feel like sometimes
that's very, very aggressive, for me to be able to plan something. So Pam, what do you think though? I mean, the night times are still awesome, but I just like, I'm always looking, even with like my job, how can I do things better? What could we do to kind of even, because we have things in the past that I think were a little bit better. Could we bring them back, or what could we do, with new ideas?
So here's what I was thinking, and it's not exclusive tonight, but it's something that I think could work. What if for on-site guests, you offered the ability to secure a lightning lane, not an individual lightning lane, a lightning lane that did not count towards the ones that were booked. This could be something that were like for specific attractions. And not only that, they could tweak it to have specific chunks of time where this would be available. I think because, the things that we're talking about, maybe one of the things is that there aren't as many people at night, and therefore not a good idea to have all these things open late. But if you said, like, let's say the park's open until 11, if you said between 9 and 11, that was one of the times that your extra lightning lane could be reserved and not count towards your other ones. Then you would know that lightning lane is, what I mean? You'll have the ability to do that. You don't have to worry about securing that during the day. You can focus on other attractions. And maybe there's a list of attractions that those would be. Remember when Fast Pass was groups, there were different groups of Fast Pass. I think that's a little bit of what we're missing with Lightning Lane in some ways. We don't have tier 1 and tier 2. We don't have that. So maybe they could tweak it with that kind of thing. I mean, I like you, I really remember and continue to enjoy the parks at night. I think it's just a fantastic time to be there, and it sort of lends itself to getting a different perspective on many different attractions. I mean, there's nothing like experiencing Big Thunder during the day and also at night. And there's a few other attractions like that they are sort of, if not better, at least different when you see them at night. So I would love to see them take advantage of these more. I agree with Scott that the parks are the perfect backdrop for many things. It's not just about the attractions. They could be, things like I think the idea of a food and wine festival at night is kind of really interesting. Like when they used to do food and wine, and then the food and wine booths would be open after the races and do that. I would love to see them try that with a paid ticket event. And I know that people are like, oh, I got a paid ticket, but like, this is the price of admission. This is what it takes to get this. So I would love to see a food and wine, night out, food and wine night out or something. Let's
where they bring more seating out,
yes.
It could be so cool. Like, and then
really
you have
could.
Some music, some bands out there and stuff. Like,
yes, and just the ability, I think, to experience that without the wait that sometimes happens, during the night at other times. So I think that would be fantastic, and I think Magic Kingdom sort of lends itself to having events like this too. But I personally love when Disney does an after hours event, because I think it just gives people who are looking for it another opportunity to try something different. So
I love that idea of like the 9 to 11 for on-site guests, because a perk for staying on site.
Yes.
They could spin it. I mean, think about back, this is like a 90s thing, but think about like how like Taco Bell used to spin like the fourth meal, kind of thing, or like, it's like the late night magic pass or something,
of course you tie this to Taco Bell. I just love
there was something about like, like being up late at night, like, okay. Cause and the thing is like, most people aren't going to use it, cause a lot of people aren't going to be up 9 to 11, cause if you got young kids, if you're old like me, you're just like, I'm going to bed.
But then that's going to be frustrating to those that were like, well, why didn't I'm staying on site and I go to bed late,
I wouldn't complain though. I mean, cause I can, what I'm saying? Like they're giving it to me. It's my option that I'm not using it. It's kind of the same thing. Like if I decide with like in 2025 with that free water park day, if I decide to book a flight at 5 p.m., to come in at 8:30 at night, that's my choice. You know what I'm saying? Like I could book a 7 a.m. flight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's his life's full of choices, so it's one of those things. I don't know. I just think I love that. But I mean, if you marketed that right, That could be something really cool, like that 9 to 11 slot where you get that fourth meal lightning light.
It is, and they do have something in the morning too. So it could be like we have this for early risers and this for night owls. Like there's
really onto something. Because then you get the early risers and the night owls. I know you totally onto something.
I know. Disney, give me a call.
That is so good. That is so good right there. That might be the best thing we've done in 16 years. I love this. Anyway, we gotta get over here. I'll be thinking about that all weekend. I gotta tell my wife right now. I'm like, Pam, guess what? Tonight while we're eating dinner, I'm like, guess what Pam came up with? This crazy.
The Taco Bell fourth meal Walt Disney World edition.
Fourth meal lightning lane. What are we going to call the morning?
Make sure though you make it clear that I did not relate it to Taco Bell.
Okay, so
is this the way you're trying to? You always talk about the all-day diner. This is like your spin on that. You'll have the early option, the late option. You're attracting all people for that late diner.
Yeah, so the night one's called the fourth meal. What we call the early bird one. The diner lightning lane, or we got to associate it with something.
I don't like the diner, but I don't know
what who has a good breakfast. The McMuffin. The McMuffin lightning lane.
I'm trying to try to like a Denny's or something, like the all-American
Grand Slam
lightning lane.
Right, the Grand Slam.
Yeah, there it is.
The Waffle House. The Grand
Slam, I think, is the winner. The Grand Slam.
Grand Slam lightning lane
in the morning. Okay, we'll workshop that one.
Remember when that used to be like $2.99 or something, like the Grand Slam?
$2.99? Are you out of your mind? Those are cool. I used to always get the moons over my hammy, but that was my thing. So anyway,
how much is the Grand Slam now? I wonder.
It's probably $10. I'm just saying, it's not cheap. All right, how much are you looking? I got to because I'm gonna close this out.
Yes, I am looking. I hope to.
It's probably prices may vary depending on geographical.
Agreed. That's probably what's going to happen.
I'm closing this out. So don't forget, join us on the Discord, beourguestpodcast.com. Click on the Discord link. We want to have you in on the conversation. If you haven't joined us, man, you're missing out. It's a great community resource. It's basically the clubhouse for our show. Pam is looking
I am. I'm like
Instagram, or she's Instacarting it right now.
No, I'm not.
45 minutes.
Starting at $5.99.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you could have that, or maybe you can go to the spaghetti dinner later tonight.
There you go. Exactly.
It looks smaller somehow, though.
Yeah, I bet you they cut back on something for it, right?
Yeah. Nowadays. Yeah.
You have they're not large eggs anymore. They're medium to small / medium eggs.
Not getting your value.
The eggs are like Pim Test Kitchen.
Join us this Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central on all the places. We'll be taking your calls. You can share your opinions on today's show. We'd love to hear what you think about the night times at Walt Disney World. Of course, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip for no additional cost to you. So check out all the details over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon, and join us on Patreon. Support the show starting at just $5 per month. You get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. We talked about Cool's the Other Side of the Pillow, ESPN, and the Disney connection this week. So coming over again, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Follow Scott on the social media at epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at beourguestmike. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. And we're going to get out of here for the weekend, but we'll be back again on Monday with another great show. So for Scott and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. We'll catch you over on Discord. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
Okay. So I have a sobering stat for you. AARP members get 15% off at Denny's. But the discount is not to exceed $10 total.
$10 total.
But if you're rolling into Denny's and dropping about $70, you'll hit your maximum discount level there. But if you're doing more than 70, you're not going to get your full 15. So you better ask for separate checks.
Yeah, separate checks at that point.
Yeah, right.
Dude, so my grandma used to go to White Castle every morning, and she would bring her own donut and just get a coffee. I'm like, Grandma, You bring your own donut and just get
I
a coffee.
love that. Did she pull it out of her pocket or what's happening here?
I don't know. I mean, my grandma was kind of cheap.
I love that there's a cap on this, though.
I know the discount. Denny's is like, we'll give you a 15% discount, but it can't exceed $10.
To a point.
That's going to be like the dinner conversation tonight. I love it.
I know. I'm taking this to my
I was going to go to
too.
Steve and like, Steve, did you know at Denny's?
Did you know? But the Grand Slam's only $5.99, so we could buy, 10 to 11 people the Grand Slam and still get our maximum discount, except that we aren't quite at AARP status
yet. I was about to say, like, you're not there, Pam. Don't be trying to like.
Right. But do they start trying to send you that stuff around this age? It's
yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. So, anyways, all right, cool.
I feel like I went 0 for 3 with like 2 strikeouts and a walk on that episode, Mike. That wasn't my best, but I'll do better.
I think it'll generate conversation. I think it
will too. I think there's.
No, you two did great. I don't know.
You did fine. You were good.
You were good. It was all good. It was good to have you.
Yeah. It was good.
It's always good to have you, Scotty.
I know. Yeah.
Yep, it always is. All right.
Yes. All right, cool. All right, see y'all.
Yeah. See you at Denny's, right?
Yeah.
All right, see you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.